All right, well, welcome. This is the Ultimate Foreclosure Formula Supergroup. Fourth Tuesday every month I'll be here. So if you want to join me on foreclosures, this is the year to do it. We're going to see a lot of things happening this year. On this particular channel of REI USA, we're going to talk about foreclosures, everything foreclosures, anything you want to talk about when it relates to foreclosures. We have in this particular super group, we've got 3 stages of foreclosures that we cover. Sometimes we'll talk about pre-foreclosure. Sometimes we'll talk about foreclosure auction, buying at the steps, buying in the courthouse. And then sometimes we'll talk about REOs. As you can see here, the topics in each of the different stages of foreclosure are very different. Each model is different. Whether if you're buying pre-foreclosures or foreclosures or post foreclosures, you're going to handle that part of the business very differently. In stage 1, it's basically covering topics where you're dealing directly with the homeowner. You know, you may have heard of the strategy of subject to, or short sale, or seller finance, lease options, all cash at closing. So subject to, pre-foreclosures, they kind of go together. A lot of people like the subject to model, and subject to is a good way to buy properties quickly. You don't have to wait for a lender. You don't have to qualify for the loan, and the property doesn't have to appraise. So basically with the subject to process, you're taking over payments on someone else's behalf. The actual loan will stay in the foreclosed borrower's name. It doesn't even go on your record, but you're the one responsible for making payments. So that's stage 1. Only in pre-foreclosure will you see that. Short sale, only in pre-foreclosures. And a short sale is when a property is in default and the seller agrees and the lender agree to sell the property for less than is owed, pretty much as full satisfaction. And then on stage 2, this is where the property is being advertised for foreclosure and it doesn't get stopped. So when it doesn't get stopped, it goes through a judicial or a non-judicial process. It all depends on what state you're in. Some states are judicial, some are non-judicial. You can just simply Google foreclosure process in Washington state, Pennsylvania, Florida, Georgia, Texas, Indiana, Arizona, wherever you're looking for foreclosures, just Google foreclosure process in my state, and you'll start seeing what the foreclosure laws are. In stage 2 foreclosures, you need to be a little bit more experienced to buy properties in stage 2, because typically a lot of states, you need all cash at closing. So if you go to the courthouse steps and bid on properties, you have to have your money right there ready to go. Some states, it's part of the money at the steps and the rest of it by 4 o'clock that afternoon or within 5 days or something like that. So at the foreclosure process where you're buying in stage 2, be prepared to have all your money. Stage 3 is where you're buying directly from the bank. So these are REO auctions. You've heard of HUD homes, VA foreclosures, and then there's several other online platforms. So those are just an introduction to the 3 stages. What I want to talk about tonight, just going to give you an introduction that, you know, I personally believe, everybody has their own opinion about this, but I believe that there will be an increase in foreclosures this year. The starts are very likely to rise in the next 6 months to a year. And it's another question you could put into Google and look up and say, what's going to happen with foreclosures in 2022? And you could read more than you ever want to know. Default notices, scheduled auctions, bank repossessions. In the last quarter of 2021, they spiked 34% increase. The experts indicate that the uptick will likely continue this year. I believe it too. Wells Fargo and other big banks like that. Most of the large banks stopped all foreclosure related activity on occupied properties last year, all the way through the end of the year. There was, you know, some exceptions to the rule, but for the most part, they stopped their foreclosures. So, you know, those guys are rearing to go and ready to get the non-performing asset. That's what I call foreclosure. A pre-foreclosure is to the bank. It's a non-performing asset. And that non-performing asset to the bank is a big hindrance. It's a huge liability. They have no control over that asset. So they're going to want to start the foreclosure process again. So we're going to start seeing in the next several months that the foreclosure surge will increase. For those of you just joining me, welcome, welcome. This is the supergroup, the Foreclosure Supergroup. I'm Darlene Coquerel. I've been in the business like 30 years. And yeah, I do everything foreclosures, all stages. Stage 1 is buying directly from the homeowner and pre-foreclosure. Stage 2 is buying at the courthouse, whether it's a judicial state and you go in front of the judge, or a non-judicial state and you buy at the foreclosure auction in a lot of states on the steps with all cash. Stage 3, post foreclosures, is buying directly from the bank. So what happens in stage 1, that's where a lot of investors like myself and some of you guys will literally go door knocking, or we'll take the pre-foreclosure list and we'll do direct mail or outbound cold calls, or whatever your marketing method is to get in touch with the owners that are facing foreclosure. And ours goes something like this. Ms. Jones, we noticed in the public record that your house is showing up for auction on the first Tuesday of next month. Have you been able to stop the foreclosure? Well, we're here to help you. What's your situation? Tell me what happened. And if we can get them talking, we say, tell me what you would like to see happen. What is it you want to have happen? Well, I'd like to keep my house, or I'd like to stop the foreclosure from getting on my record. I'd like to just walk away from the house. So we say, Mrs. Jones, are you willing to walk away for what you owe on it? That's our subject to question. And again, remember, subject to is the process where we don't get a new loan. We don't pay all cash. We just bring that loan current. We'll pay the money that is needed to bring that loan current. This is only in stage 1, only in pre-foreclosure. And this is kind of like this is the subject to process. So if they say that I'm willing to walk away, sometimes they say, well, not for what I owe, but I need some money. I need help moving. I need money for a security deposit to go rent a new place. So we find out exactly how much cash they need at closing. When we know that, when we know how many months they're in arrears, how many months they haven't paid their mortgage payment, and when we know what the payoff is and the monthly payment, we know whether or not we could take over these payments and pretty much close in less than a week. All we need is a good closing attorney or a title examiner, depending if you're in a title state or an attorney state, and you go through the title search, get that stuff done, and go close. No wait for an appraisal, no wait for a lender, no 30 days applying for a loan to get approved. That's the beauty of pre-foreclosure and subject to deals. Stage 2 is foreclosures. Stage 3 is post foreclosures. This is what we're going to talk about today, is stage 3, post foreclosures. Really buying directly from the bank is what we're looking at. Remember, stage 3 is where you're going to go through REO auctions. I'll show you a couple examples tonight. You know, the HUD and VA foreclosures, several other online auction platforms. If any of you have questions or comments, just put them in the chat box and I'll address them as I see them. I think you should be seeing my screen. I'm talking about prepare now for buying foreclosures in 2022. And we're on the post foreclosure. I'm going to show you several different platforms, if you will, several different platforms and how to prepare for this business for the upcoming surge in foreclosures. You should take note, go get a pencil and paper or on your electronic device, however you want to take notes. I'm telling you, if you're in the business of buying real estate this year, this is something that you want to add to your calendar on a regular basis. So what I do for my particular model, when I'm dealing with REOs, I look at my market and I say, I want to saturate my market. So if I'm looking at Norcross, Georgia, for example, that's one city outside of Atlanta. If I want to look at target Norcross, I want to go to every one of these websites, every one of these REO platforms. And I want to put it on my calendar that I'm going to start reviewing these REO platforms every week. I'm going to put in the city and the state. And like I said, I'll do a couple examples here, just kind of going through the process with a couple of these websites. We don't have a whole lot of time, but what I want you to do first is take note. You go to auction.com and you set up a free, just set up a free account with auction.com. And then you're going to start searching on there for real estate in your target area. HUD Home Store, HUD Homes. When FHA properties, when FHA loans foreclose, they go back to the bank, and then when they go back to the bank, if they don't sell it, the steps they go back to the bank. When they go back to the bank, that's in stage 2. Stage 2 is legal closure. So you go through the pre-foreclosure process. The lender either sends out a lawsuit telling the borrower that they're going to sue them to get the property back. That's in judicial states. In the non-judicial state, the lender will advertise in the public newspaper for 4 consecutive weeks that they're going to foreclose by public outcry. That's an auction on the steps at the county courthouse where the property is located. So when I'm working pre-foreclosures, I'm looking for that list. When I'm looking for REOs, I'm following that list. I want to see which of those properties did not sell. So if they went to stage 2, which is legal closure, at stage 2, the lender takes possession of the property and then they start to auction it off. If they don't have a third-party buyer to pay high enough amount, they take the property back. When they take the property back, it goes into stage 3, post-foreclosure. It's an REO. It's a bank-owned property, and that's where you're buying directly from the bank. You're buying directly from the bank, but you're on these different platforms to try to buy there. Has anyone here ever bid on REO platforms? Let me know. Show me in the chat box where you are, who you are, what part of the country are you in, and what's your level? Are you a new investor? Have you been in the business for a while? Tell me some things. What are you looking to accomplish in 2022? In the meantime, either screenshot this screen right here so that you get these, basically these websites, and you see where it says mark your calendars to review REO websites every week. That's something you want to do. And here they are again. So this is an even better one, easier one. Auction.com, HUD Home Store is all the FHA properties that go back to the bank. They become HUD foreclosures. Fannie Mae, those, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, they insure loans also. So if a buyer is getting a Fannie Mae loan or a Freddie Mac loan, typically they're putting 5% down payment or less. So if you know anything about the foreclosure history, the biggest bucket of foreclosures has been the FHA, the VA, the Fannie, the Freddie loans. And with this moratorium last year, in the last 2 years, that's the biggest bucket that has been on hold. So in 2022, these buckets are going to start overflowing because the lenders want to get control of their money again, get control of this non-performing asset. So these are the websites that you want. Here's some tips on bidding. Follow up. The most important thing I can tell you right now is once you learn the foreclosure process, the REO, going on the platforms, getting yourself set up and bidding, once you learn how to do that, keep good records. You want to see the end of the bid. You see what I put number 2? Track the end of the auction results. So there's 2 kind of auctions out there. And I'm only referring to real estate. There's 2 kind of auctions, generally speaking. One is an absolute auction and one is a reserve auction. So in the absolute auction, most real estate is not auctioned off in an absolute auction. An absolute auction says, whatever my opening bid is, I will sell that property for $1 over that bid. A reserve says I may have an opening bid at, let's call it 100,000, but my reserve is 180,000. I reserve the right not to sell that property unless I get 181,000 for it, or $180,100, right? So a reserve auction means you could be the highest bidder, but you don't necessarily win. So I have number 2 here, track the end of the auction results. Number 1, you want to watch so that you can see if the reserve was met. Number 2, you want to know what the highest bid was so that you can go back and do your due diligence, take a deeper dive, do a secondary review, on looking at your comps and everything that it takes to decide what your MAO is, and your MAO is your maximum allowable offer. And so this is the work you have to do to be successful at real estate investing on the REO platform. Next time I'm going to bring my trophy. I have a trophy, an award from auction.com. It says that my team, I have led a team that we won over $75 million worth of auction properties, online auction with auction.com in 2014. We built a big team. We had to do a lot of bidding, and we had to have a lot of follow-up, and we had to track a lot of results, because most of the deals we did were not bought on the first round. What happens is a lot of times those properties go, the auction does not meet reserve. The high bid, my MAO, your MAO, everybody bidding does not meet the reserve, the bank's reserve. And so it goes back into the auction block the next month, or the next circuit, whenever they put that auction together. Once again, I'll show you some samples as we're going through tonight. So it's very important, again, whatever you're doing in this business, if you're buying and holding, if you want to do wholesale, you want to fix and flip, whatever you want to do, you want to do short-term rentals, Airbnb, whatever the case is, it's important to saturate your market, because inventory is so low. So I look at for sale by owner, I look at MLS properties, I look at Zillow properties, I drive for dollars and looking for distressed properties, vacant houses, but I also add REO platforms. So that's what we're talking about, is just looking at REO platforms at one particular geographical niche that you want to target, and just keep really good results. Literally use an online calendar. Use an online calendar. And I'm going to show you a couple of these. We'll definitely spend some time with auction.com. We'll do the first two, auction.com and HUD Home Store. And there are not a lot of REOs right now, because there has been a moratorium on foreclosures, and most of those have just been sitting on the sidelines. And the moratorium affected the insured loans, FHA, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, USDA, insured conventional loans, and what else did I miss? FHA, VA, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, USDA, all the insured loans. These are all the ones that I'm showing you here: auction.com, HUD Home Store, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac. Those are the ones that have been sitting on the sideline, and those are the ones that will have the highest reserves. These buyers have come to the table with anywhere from 0 to 5% down payment. So we have a different scenario happening in the next 3 to 5 years than we had in the Great Recession of 2007 and 2008. So that's another story in itself. But I just want you to be ready. I want you to be ready and understand that whether you want to buy 1, 2, 3, or 4 houses this year, or 40 houses, these platforms should be number one on your list for every week. Set aside 5 hours a week for starters, just 5 hours a week of going on these auction platforms for one zip code or one city, whatever you want to target. Just start there. And then after that, you can grow from there. I'm here to answer any questions also about this. We'll come back to that in a second. Okay, so let me see where we are. Give me 1 second, guys. I think I'm gonna go to the side here. Let me try to share another screen. Give me a quick minute while I find my controls. Oh, there they are. Number 3. All right, hopefully you can see my screen here. So this is, for example, this is HUD Home Store, right? And all you do is just type in hudhomestore.gov. I'm sorry, hudhomestore.com, and it'll put you in there. hudhomestore.com, and it just takes you here. So I could take any state. Let's see who's here. Let's go California, just for a sample. Let's go to California. These are the FHA properties that have foreclosed. And this is what I want you to do, is I want you to every week, and maybe the beginning of the week and the end of the week, go in here and look around. Now you have to decide what county. I'm just looking generally speaking right now. Here I am in California. I'm just doing a global search in California. And I'll show you some things. These exclusive right here, you'll just hover over it. It says this is for owner occupants, nonprofits, and government agencies only. This is what we call the first look period. So if you were on the exclusives, if you were to click on there on the HUD FHA number here, it shows you your submission deadline is daily at midnight Central Time. So there's 5 hours and 38 minutes left on this particular property. But as a real estate investor, we're not a owner occupant. We're not a nonprofit. We're not a government agency. So we cannot bid on this one until, let me go back to the property search. We can't bid on an exclusive. We have to wait till it gets to extended. So here's one in the extended category. This is open to all bidders. So this is in Kern County, but $315,000. I'm going to show you a couple things. One of the things to know about HUD, you know, way back in the day, we used to have formulas, and we would watch those formulas, and we would know that in 18 days, they're going to drop it by, 5%. In another 21 days, they're going to drop it till they get to the point that we know that they don't drop it below 90%, or VA. We know they don't drop it below 82% of the value of that loan, the loan that was owed on the property. So those are kind of the things we watch. But I tell my investors all the time changes things in real estate. And so this is so true about these HUD foreclosures and VA foreclosures and FHA and Fannie Mae. The big banks, they like to look at their balance statement, their profit and loss statement. They like to look at their numbers on a quarterly basis. So sometimes today, this property, the bid price on here is $315,000. And if they're just putting this out there, there's a good chance they're not going to come off that price at all. But what I noticed is, look, this property has been listed since November 2021. That's the last quarter of 2021. When you pass 12/31, when you pass the last quarter, the last day of the year, and you move into the next quarter, you see a lot more. I could have been bidding on this property all year and trying to buy this property for $290,000, right? It's listed at $315, and they reject my bid. They reject my bid. They reject my bid at $290. I may come in towards the end of Q1 2022, and all of a sudden they're going to take $270 for that property. So never give up. Never give up and follow up, constant follow up. So that's what you're doing, is you're going to create a calendar. This is your bidding calendar, right? You want to create a calendar that you know what's going on these different websites, and you'll find out which ones you really like working with. The only thing about HUD offers, you have to have a HUD broker make your offers for you. You cannot just make an offer. So all you need to do is, you could probably go into whatever state you're in, or you can go into here and search for a broker search, and it'll give you your brokers. It'll give you the brokers in your area. You still want to vet them. You still want to do a little due diligence. You still want to make sure that this person has your interests at heart, that they know how to support you and work with you, that they know what they're doing when it comes to HUD. I've been a HUD broker for, well, at least 10 years. And it's one of my favorite things to do. Of course, right now I'm only active in Georgia, maybe Florida when it comes to HUD. But this is another thing I'm looking at here. This dollar sign, you see the drop? I could see that their price dropped. Once again, once I know that they start dropping their price, I know that they're going to get a little bit more flexible. When you see exclusive, you know that the property, look, the property bid open date was January 26th, January 28th. This is when this is up for its first look period. So you know that the property's pretty new on the market. They are inflexible for changing for accepting low bids. And that's why I say time changes things. Keep your eyes open, right? You want to keep watching these over time. So that's California. Let's look at Alabama. Alabama has 11 properties. Now, again, I'm just doing a global search. You see what I did? I just put Alabama and search. Instead, so I see that there's 11, but I don't want all buyer types right now. I like to look at it because I like to know, like I'll start looking if this condition, let's just say, for example, look, most of these are extended. which means they're not selling to owner occupants too well over there. Here's a brand new listing. This is exclusive. I may watch this one. Let's say, for example, was this it here? Yeah, this is the exclusive. I don't have very many pictures and it looks in decent shape. But if you see an exclusive listing that's in really bad shape, that's the one you want to put on your radar, because a brand new owner occupied buyer may not be able to get a loan for that property. Therefore, that's going to go into the extended period. So those are ones I want to put on my radar, right? So in this particular case, this list date was January 20th. And its period deadline is February 3rd. So that right there is the end of the first look period. Right there is what you see it. So somewhere around January 28th, 29th, 30th, 31st, February 1 and 2, I want to keep watching just so I didn't make a mistake and I didn't miss anything if that property was in my area. The other thing you could do is and these are so low, again, HUD Home Store is one of the best ones to watch, and I'll give you some other reasons why. But because FHA loans were the dominant property, the dominant loan type in moratorium, in forbearance, that had to sit on the sidelines for 18 to 24 months, that the lenders could not foreclose during the pandemic. And above and beyond that, lenders chose not to do anything until 2022. So in the next 90 days, we're going to start seeing these numbers climb on the HUD Home Store. This is why I wanted to talk about REOs tonight. It's been tough. I've watched this, I watch it all the time, but watching it in the last 2 years, I'm going to show you Georgia in a second. I'm located in Georgia. It was tough to see anything hit the Georgia HUD site, because everything's getting gobbled up at the courthouse steps. People are buying everything. So, but when the inventory opens up, we'll start seeing a lot more in here. All right. In the meantime, I'm an investor. I'm not an owner occupant. I don't work for the government, and I'm not a nonprofit. I'm just an investor. So let me just look at the investor properties. Out of the 11, there's 10. That's exciting. I wish that happened in Georgia. We're going to look at Georgia in a second. And the other thing I like to do is I like to do this. I want to go from the lowest to the highest. I want to make sure my lowest list price is here. And I can see, once again, this looks like a good one to me. And the reason is that they've already started dropping the price. They're down to 81,000. It's extended, so I qualify for it. I'm going to go in here and look and see this property, purple walls. This is exactly the type of property we look for, right? Owner occupants are not going to be bidding on this property. So you're going to be bidding against other investors on this particular property. And again, once you click on that case number that I showed you here, that's when you get to that place right here, right? You'll see. And so basically, once it gets to the extended, it ends midnight every day, Central Standard Time. It's like a daily auction every daggone day. It's exciting. When you understand this, when you find your way around here, it's really good. The other exciting thing is, I have to tell you, when I'm competing, when I'm making offers out there in the field, like properties that may be on MLS or for sale by owner or whatever, I'm making offers with a really high earnest money, because I want to prove that I'm a strong performer. I want to prove they should choose me instead of somebody who's offering $1,000 earnest money. In this particular case, you don't have to put up a big earnest money. HUD only requires $500 or $8,000, depending on the contract price. So the most you're going to put up is $1,000 earnest money. And it's really exciting. It's really cut and dry. Back in the day, HUD was very cumbersome. You always had to, almost had to have 6 blue ink originals, right? Now everything's done online until you go under contract. Once you go under contract, then you have to hurry up and run. Then you have to get across town, get your earnest money to the earnest money holder as they dictate. Within 24 or 48 hours, get your blue ink original to the broker, the listing broker, within 24, 48 hours as they dictate. So, but you have a lot you can do until you get to that point. So it's exciting. Great, great, great game to play in this business. Oh, did I tell you? Closing. This is the difference between pre-foreclosure. You have a deadline because the property is going to foreclosure. So you have to learn how to postpone the foreclosure or close before the foreclosure. That's number one. In stage two, you have to have all your money and close on the spot or within 10, 15, very quick number of days. You have to have all cash. In post foreclosure, with HUD foreclosures, you can, it'll be up to 30 days for closing, and sometimes it's a little bit more. So you have time to go out there and get a hard money loan, a construction loan, whatever you want to call it, or put your money together. All you need is that very little earnest money, and then you can go out there and do the rest. So I like HUD for all those reasons. Like I said, the only caveat is find a good HUD agent in your area, a HUD qualified agent, and you can do it right on the website. Questions or comments about HUD? A couple other good things, let's see here is, so sometimes they give you some information, like here, property listing disclosure. Let's see if they've got anything here. Give me a second. Sometimes they give you some real good information. Here it is, just nothing really repairs. This property is listed as uninsurable. Again, that means you cannot get an FHA. You cannot get an insured loan. You cannot get an FHA, a VA, a Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac loan, USDA loan on this. It has to be an uninsured. That means right there, it tells you it needs work. The property is serviced by a septic tank. The condition is unknown. The buyer is responsible for all costs of inspection. That's some good information right there. That says buyer beware. Make sure you're not so new that you don't know what to do about this. I'm excited. When I see this, I'm so excited because I know it's going to stop some people. It doesn't bother me. When I look at the house from the outside, if I can get in the inside, I will. Another good thing about HUD homes, in most states, they're listed in MLS. So if you're not an agent, get yourself an agent that'll get you inside the house. Or call the listing agent and say, hey, I'd like to view the property. I'd like to make an offer, but I need to get inside and see what happens. We make a lot of offers sight unseen. A lot of times I'm looking for a counter offer versus an accepted offer. Oh my gosh, let me tell you the biggest secret about HUD. Make offers. And this is my motto. And I told you my investors, I teach ultimate foreclosure formula. I teach foreclosures. And my motto is always make more offers, see less houses. Here's the biggest secret about HUD. Every time you make an offer, you get a response. And most of the time the response is your offer has not been accepted, but HUD has countered your offer. 8 times out of 10, the counter offer is full list price, but every now and then it's not. It shows you what the net to HUD needs to be. And net means they look at everything. They look at every line item and they say, if I were to sell this house for $100,000 and I paid 5% commission, that's minus 5,000. I got 95,000 gross net left. And I have to pay my closing attorney $2,000, whatever. Now I'm down to $93,000 net to HUD. And then you ask for closing costs, $2,000. So now I'm down to $91,000. So HUD makes their decision on accepting or rejecting a contract based on the net, right? Oh, that makes sense, Darlene. Everybody does, kind of. But HUD really does. I mean, their whole system is without human intervention until it gets to a certain point, right? So you get a response. If it's in your wheelhouse, if it's in your target area, you want to make an offer because you will get an email or your agent will get an email on every offer you make. And if you make an offer, this one right here, 1711 Sowell Road, if you make this offer here and they don't accept it and they give you a counter, you want to go back. You want to go back in 10 days and you want to make an offer again. Make it for $100 less and see what happens. And guess what? When they drop the price, you'll get notified. So the uglier the house, the longer it takes to get it sold sometimes. And the reason for that is their price is too high, too much work is needed. They're inflexible to come down low enough, but eventually they will come down low enough. Eventually they sell every house. So keep that in mind. Good stuff, right? I hope you're getting something out of this. I love this part of the business, just like my favorite, besides going to the steps. Property condition report. That was the property listing disclosure. Here's property condition report. And again, what I'm showing you, you see where I went. I clicked on that case number. It took me to this property info. Then you just go to these different tabs. So I'm under the addendum tab, and I just did the property condition report. And a lot of times there's nothing on here, but once again, I have so much business under my belt. I have done so many rehabs. I bought and sold so many houses that at a glance, I could look at this and I could know within reason how much it's going to cost me to renovate that house. And that's what I need. And you need somebody, you need to build your team to that point that if you're not that person, if you're buying 5 houses this year and you want to move fast, you want to compete in this environment, you have to learn how to play. So what do I see? The first thing I do is I look down, look at the left-hand column. These are the categories. Okay, okay, okay. Everything says okay, I don't really care. NA, okay, no, not applicable, missing. Stove, range, oven is missing. Okay, and then I read to the right, missing the stove, the fridge, and the dishwasher. All right, plumbing, okay, okay. Pressure test passed. Everything is okay. So again, I just read the left, I read the right, and then I move on. Functionality, see where it says no, built-in appliances, no, not functional, because they're missing. It doesn't bother me because we buy new appliances for every rehab. So, but this is, sometimes it's helpful. Sometimes there's nothing here to work with. So, but those are pretty much, some of this is lead-based paint. I don't really care. I don't really care because again, I've been in it long enough. I know if it's 1978 or older, you're going to have to sign the addendum, the flood addendum. I'm not the expert when it comes to that. So I do ask my experts, I go to the closing attorney, I go to the people who know these things, and see if there's anything here I have to worry about. We're not going to go there now. So you could print the flyers. So if you're going to go drive these houses, you should drive these houses, at least drive the house, walk around. If it's on this website, it's owned by HUD. You're not trespassing. There's nobody. If there's somebody living in the property, which is quite possible, they don't own the property anymore. HUD does. So agent info, here's the listing broker on this one. Once again, you could easily contact the listing broker and say, I'd like to put in a bid. Do you have somebody on your team that can help me? That's where I would start. We teach in the business. A lot of people talk about if you're going to make offers on properties with listing agents, work through the listing agent. I don't share that same opinion, but when it comes to HUD, this is the best place to start until you decide who in your state you want to work with. Like I said, good stuff. Hope you like it. All right, there's Alabama. Of course, we got to pull Georgia because I'm in Georgia. Let's look at Florida. Florida is another popular state. Florida has 9 listings. Oh, these are investor listings. Florida has 20 listings. That is amazing to me. But Florida has topped the market with number of foreclosures over time. So let's do it. Let's do it again. Let's go from lowest to highest. What if you were looking for, a property in Florida? This is exclusive, but it's 84. It's a brand new listing. Here's one, 100,000 in Lakeland, Florida. 2-bedroom, 2-bath, but it's extended listing and they're $100,800. I might make lowball offers on these. Again, I would make a lowball offer. I'm giving you all my amazing secrets. I would make a lowball offer just to find out what HUD's net is going to be, because that email is going to come back to the agent. I'm going to tell the agent, I want to know what the email is, forward it to me when you get it. And I want to know what their net needs to be. The list date here was January 1st. So it's not old enough. Once HUD gets to be 90 days or older, and it happens with ugly houses, really houses that really need a lot of work. Let's see if there's another one. I don't know what this means. Pending bid opening. New bids are still being accepted at this time, but there are bids from previous bid periods that need to be reviewed before your bid will be considered. Doesn't matter. Don't worry about their job. Do your job. Your job is get your bid in anyway. Let me see if there's any others that dropped their price. That's one of the first things I look for on my HUD platform is I look for dropped prices. New listings, I almost ignore them because I know it was an FHA loan, and they're not flexible on their price rate yet. And it's exclusive anyway, so I'm not going to qualify. Unless you want to look for a house for yourself. And you know, my very first property I ever bought was a HUD foreclosure, and it was a duplex, and I bought it as an owner occupant. I moved in one side and I rented out the other, and they had an owner occupant special, $100 down payment. It was amazing. It took me a year to get to that first bid accepted, or actually I had bids accepted, but we walked away. But that was the first house I ever bought, was a HUD foreclosure. So good stuff. Georgia, let's do the last one, Georgia. And we have 6. This is the problem in Georgia. We don't have enough properties to look at. So I look at this every week, hoping this number is going to go up. In 60 days from now, 120 days from now, 180 days from now, you know, we're going to see 20, 30 listings in here. And that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for the foreclosure surge will increase. Once the banks open up and start foreclosing again on FHA homes, this is going to start increasing. In the meantime, near me, the only one near me is this one, and it's brand new, so it's exclusive, but I'm going to watch this. I'm going to put this on my calendar because this is in my territory. My territory is pretty big, lots of counties, but I want this house. I want this house because this is $128,000 right now. And it says it's insured escrow, you know, and that's a little different than uninsured. According to them, an owner occupant could buy it, but there are some repairs that have to be done before this would qualify for an FHA home. I don't have much time left, only 15 minutes, but in some cases it'll detail for you what needs to be done. But bottom line is, I don't think this is going to be sold to an owner occupant. So I need to watch this. The list date was January 20th, February 3rd. So this is going on my calendar for Monday, January 31st. So I'm going to put this on my calendar to watch this property. Because it's in one of the counties I like. Where's the address? Where's the address here? Gotta go to a different page. So what I would do, let me just go take it real quick. Save that for myself. And the address is going to be in here, I guess. Where's the address, you guys? Oh, it's right here, 504 Paulding Lane. Silly Darlene. So why can't I see it there? What? Oh, here it is. There we go. And then the period deadline is right here. The list price is 128. So this is going to be sold to an investor. I'm going to watch this and see what happens. I'm going to bid on it. And my bid, there's a good chance right now, if I go look, 504 Paulding Lane, Dallas, Georgia, 504 Paulding Lane, Dallas, Georgia. And this is one of the first things I do. I do a lot of things, but one of the first things I do is Zillow says there's estimates 160,000. In my territory, Zillow's okay. You know, there's some areas that we say it's ridiculous, but Zillow's okay. So if this is 160, I'm pretty sure it's a 3-bedroom, 1-bath, which may or may not be true. This was built in 1963. It's on a 1/4 acre, 3-bedroom, 1-bath. You know, there's a chance that this is worth 175. So I'll go do my due diligence and just do a little research. I don't need to get in the house. And that's just me. Here's 24 pictures right here. This is what I would do, or I would have someone do for me. Go out and take all these pictures. Look at this wall. You know, you got issues. Some issues were here, but I'm okay with that. You know, this kitchen is not a bad kitchen. It's not real small. is very dated, but it's not small. I'd replace the cabinets. Get rid of the wallpaper. I'm tired of butcher block. Get rid of butcher block counters. You know, the flooring, I could probably salvage this flooring. It's about the only thing. I mean, this was renovated at one time. It's got all the colors. It's got every notation that an investor had owned this at one time. And I just know that because of the renovations we do in our area. That's the flooring, that's the color scheme, you know, and so on. So anyway, so that's pretty cool. And that's easy enough. You could start right here. Everything was free so far. You take HUD, you go to Zillow, you look it all up and start there. But that's exciting. All right, enough of HUD. Let's go to auction.com. Remember I said go to auction.com and create a free account. So mine is REIJV LLC. That's my account, REIJV1. So I can see here that I saved a bunch of assets. You create your free account. You'll figure out how to do it. But a lot of these I have bid on. And again, what I do is me or somebody on my team, this one right here, this property has been auctioned off no less than 6 times. No less than 6 times, and it still has not sold because, and I've bid on it, the estimated value is 158. It never meets reserve. I've bid on it up to 95,000. Here it has the current bid is 75,000. The bidding ends in 15 hours. Where's their pictures? They got rid of their pictures. You can see here another property on the same street sold for 188 in November 2020. 189, 180, 189, 194. I don't care about the low price. I do care about the size. This is 2,000 square foot, but it's on 3 acres, 7 acres. So you got to take that into consideration. You got to watch the thing about auction.com. You have to watch this down here. Just slowly learn everything. When I read a new contract, guys, I read the entire contract, right? I hate new contracts. Pennsylvania, if I'm looking at making offers in Pennsylvania, it's an 18-page contract. I have to read the whole thing. It's very different than what I'm used to using. I've done purchases and sales in many, many states. Each time we do it, I have to read the state regulated contract, but also investor contracts. And then like things like this on these websites, read this so that you understand and know everything. Let's see what the comparable sales are. You know, theirs is 158. Their estimated value is 158. If I take the same Control C, if I take that up here, let's just see what the rest of the world says. Zillow says, okay, they're not giving you this estimate. Sometimes they won't give you this estimate when it's on the market. But let's go see realtor.com. Realtor.com will give you an estimate. Sometimes. How about Trulia, Redfin? Some of these different ones have estimates for you. Sometimes you can get different estimates though. You know, they've changed a little bit. If it's active on the market, a lot of times, here's your Redfin estimate, 139,823 right there. So, you know, I take it with a grain of salt. They say 158. What does everybody else say? And then I go do my own due diligence. You know, if you're a real estate investor, what there are products out there for you, PropStream, My REI Pro, different things like that. As a real estate, I'm a broker and an investor. As a real estate broker, of course I use MLS, but I also use PropStream, and and I'll go out there and it'll give me a value, and and I play with the. I want to see a 3.2, 1537 square foot. I'm going to look at like properties, so 1537 times 120%. I'll look at properties up to about 1900 square feet for comparison when I want to look at compare apples to apples. But let me go back to the beginning. So I went to auction.com, right? And there's a couple things you can do. You can go here go to buy and look at their event calendar. Set your preferences. I don't do that, but you can set your preferences. So then maybe I want to go look at, I'm just going to use Georgia. That's my state. And this is what I like. If you set your settings properly, you've got a map and you've got the list, or you could just set it just for the list, however you want. But I like to look at it like this on the map too, because I'm going to say, let's see, where am I looking today? Ooh, there's a good one right there. I want to see this one in Cartersville. Cartersville, one of my favorite areas. It's 336. Okay, next. Not wanting to look at Cartersville at 336. Hiram, 497. Oh, actually, they're looking at retail. Let's just see this property. See if I can get this one. I couldn't see the, let me see if I can now. Doesn't have an opening bid. So I'm trying to see if they can show me the opening bids. But you can start here. You know, you look at, so that's one way is to look at their map. Another way, go back here, look at their event calendar. So this was going up here and doing your search. And you can search by city, state, whatever, same thing. You want to watch this on a regular basis. It changes hourly, not daily, not weekly. It changes hourly. So I'm going to go look at the event calendar. And for now, I'm going to just keep it like it is. It's all. The event calendar shows me all of these. Let's say that I really just want to look at Alabama for now. I'm going to go to the Alabama, the public foreclosure auction. Those are the ones that in most cases you have to show up with cash in hand. What I want to see is this online bidding. You see the main event, they got 29 assets. So in this particular case, this one's going on right now. It's from January 22nd to January 29th. So these are the properties that are being bid. Now, even though I said Alabama, 843 assets are across the country. I just want to see single family, I want to see multifamily, and I want to choose Alabama again. There's 31 assets. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in here and I'm going to look at this starting bid. Look at this one right here. This is amazing. 4-bedroom, 2-bath, 1820 square feet. And notify me what the reserve amount is. The opening bid is $15,000. The auction starts in 12 hours. So when we talk about calendar, now this is a manufactured home, but that's okay. $15,000 is the opening bid. This is what I was talking about, opening bids. Now auction.com, I love auction.com, have bought lots and lots of properties off of auction.com, but you waste a lot of time because the opening bid sometimes is way too low from what the reserve really is. And that's okay though. Once again, you get it, you put it on your radar, you be serious about this business. When it's all said and done, if you're really going to try to buy properties on the online auctions, REOs, direct from banks, you're going to put in at least 20 hours a month, in this business where you're going to treat this like a business, right? Be on top of it. So for example, if you set up your free account, you click on the heart, it becomes one of your saved assets. That means whatever email you sign up for, you will start getting alerts about that property. Like I get an alert and it says, opening bid has dropped, reserve has dropped, property is being auctioned in 24 hours. So things like that. And when I start recognizing addresses that I'm interested in, gets my attention. So that's they got a very good platform that is interactive with you and your electronic devices. And then you just register for the auction. I'm not going to register for this one. I'm just going to go through the process. So I'm already in their system. This is who I am. This is my phone number. Once I go through with it, I want you to add all saved properties from that event to register. Then they're going to continue and they're going to ask me, I understand I'm responsible for my due diligence. These are the terms. If you participate, you have to sign the documents within 1 business day. If you're the winner, you have to send your earnest money within 2 business days, and you have to respond to them within 1 business days, or you could lose your spot. winning bidders who do not fulfill their participation terms could be charged a $2,400 cancellation fee. So if you try to walk away after you win a bid, you could potentially get fined $2,500. When you put your credit card in here, they put a hold on that credit card. They're not charging you. They're just putting a hold on there. I'm not going to sign up for Alabama. I don't want to buy in Alabama. So I'm not really signing up for this one right now. Just kind of wanted to show you the process. But it's, again, a very user-friendly platform. And if you watch your territory, learn how to use it here. Like, for example, we talked about REOs. REOs are bank-owned properties. I could ignore everything else for now, and I just want to look at bank-owned properties. So many, many different ways to narrow down your search. He's got me here in Atlanta, Georgia. Opening bid 200, 100, 150. So not very exciting. Here's one in Lithonia on Deshawn. This is a little bit of a main road, but 3,500 square feet. Love it, love it, love it. You know, so I could easily drive by this home. Actually, no, I've had one of my students drive this home, and it's a pretty amazing house, and it's going to need a lot of work, but it'll be interesting. She'll be interested to know it's actually on post foreclosure. So we started watching this in pre-foreclosure, and my time is up, by the way, but we started watching this in pre-foreclosure. Here it is now in post foreclosure. So we could not get the owner. Evidently nobody could. So it went to auction and nobody bought it at the steps. So now it's being auctioned off, and I would totally register for this auction. Auction starts in 4 days. So this is what we just did. I am really seriously going to set up for this one. Add all saved properties for that auction. Yes, I understand that. Yes, I understand that. Continue. Yes, you can charge that card. Accept and register. So I'm registered for that auction. Now, just so that I can get in on the bid, I'm going to go ahead. I'm starting to bid already. I placed my proxy bid for $100,000. Because I know this property. This property is worth over $300,000, but I know it. It's in my territory. This is what I say: saturate your market, and you know what's going on, and you go over and over again. I've seen this property over the last 6 to 9 months. I haven't been inside, but I've seen it through way of my students. They're out there. We're talking together. Lily will be so excited to know that I just put a bid on this property. I'm going to have to get it and let her know. Oops, saving that one first. Anyway, that's my story, guys. Oh, I forgot how to turn this off. Where's my, sorry, I lost my Zoom. All right, let's go back to where I was. Number 2. So anyway, thank you so much. I do want to tell you one more thing. You know, everything here is recorded for free on the members area on the REI USA platform. So you just find your members area and you can go back there. This Sunday, you know, this weekend we have the Badass Women of Real Estate, and I'm one of them. So I'll be there on Sunday. I'll be there Sunday Eastern time, 11:30 a.m. Eastern, 11, 10, 9, 8:30 West Pacific. So, but I'll be talking about foreclosures, the upcoming foreclosure wave. But if you want to sign up, you guys are already members. If you're here, you're already a member. So you might as well sign up, because I think you can get the free recording. But if you haven't already signed up, here's a link right here. Go ahead and sign up, and come on down. This is going to be an amazing event. If you've ever been to a summit, there's no selling. We're not selling anything. We're just giving information out. So sign up for free. Talk a lot about what's going on this year. A lot more, 45 minutes worth. So it's amazing how fast 45 minutes goes when I'm talking about real estate. And then this is me. Take a screenshot every month. Same bat channel, same bat time. I'm here. 4th Tuesday of the month, 7 p.m. Eastern time. Thanks for coming, guys. I'll see you Sunday.